just drawn up.
Curry guarded closely by Ball. Maxey trying to get it to Curry. Almost turns it over. Set. Head fake. And hits it. Set. Close out Curry.
What is up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Sixers Post Game Live today. The Sixers get the W 103-98 against the Chicago Bulls. A huge win, a statement win. We're breaking down the top takeaways, our player of the game, and team grades. Let's do this thing. Joining me is my man over there. He is Justin. Follow him on Twitter at J_Persicchetti. What's up, Justin?
Man, I don't know if I'm able to match this energy. I don't know if anyone's able to match this Dibes energy.
Let's go!
RJ Lucas is correct. Let's go. Sixers coming with a great win against the Bulls tonight. Defense was the name of tonight's game, and we saw a lot of bench players step up as well. So let's talk about it. I'm excited.
Also joining us is my man. He is Tiago. Follow him on Twitter at TScabia. What's going on, Tiago?
What's going on, man? Shout out to Brazil, who's in the chat.
Yes, sir.
We're going global right now. It's good to know. I'm also from Brazil, so welcome.
Yes.
Does any of you guys know what the hell Doc Rivers dropped on the last play we just watched? Because
I don't know, man.
Curry going like hero ball over
like
Caruso, which
death,
is
taxes, and no Sixers offense in fourth quarters. That's really like it doesn't matter. The Sixers offense is among the best of the best in the league so far. Through the early parts of the season. But like Justin said, the story of this game was 100% the Sixers defense, led by Tyrese Maxey, led by Matisse Thybulle, led by Joel Embiid. That block at the end of the game was brilliant. They forced 15 turnovers by the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls only shot 6 of 21. We've got clips of Matisse's defense tonight. We've got clips of Tyrese Maxey's defense tonight. Lead us off, Justin. What was your quick take on the Sixers defense?
So defensively, and I talked about this before coming on here with you guys, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, Georges Niang, and I feel like I'm forgetting a name right now. We're putting so much effort, or Furkan Korkmaz as well, putting so much effort on Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the perimeter, in the post, just really not – the best thing about their defense tonight was they were not contesting and fouling. They were doing great contests and not fouling too much on some guys that can pick up a lot of fouls in games typically.
Yeah, what about you, Tiago?
Yeah, I thought it was all around an unbelievable defensive effort. And I even tweeted, I thought it might have been Matisse's best defensive game as a Sixer, which is, as you're seeing right there, is just unbelievable.
It's always Zach LaVine games. I
mean, he's up for the challenge, and you can clearly see when you watch the game how bothered LaVine is by Tease. Like, he hesitates. You know, he doesn't – nothing comes easy for LaVine at all, and you saw a lot of that tonight. I mean, now you're just seeing the chaos that he creates as a help defender. I mean, he had, 3 steals?
He had 3 steals and 2 blocks.
2 blocks. I mean, that's typical Matisse chaos. But to me, it was everybody, and you talked about it, Justin. Like, it was Niang, it was a little bit of Korkmaz, it was a little bit of Maxey. I mean, the defensive rotations tonight were unbelievable. I mean, everybody was engaged. Nobody was sleeping on anything. I thought that Niang was phenomenal on defense. I thought that Korkmaz competed physically against DeRozan, which is a tough thing to do. So I thought overall defensive is where they won the game tonight, and then obviously with Embiid closing out the game with that monster block.
Look where Matisse Thybulle is at this part of the play. He's literally 5 feet out of the court, and then he runs all. How many miles did he travel tonight, Tiago? Because Matisse was everywhere. Look at that block.
We will have that tomorrow on the show, because he probably traveled a good half marathon tonight.
I'm gonna get the Tyrese defense out. Because I thought Tyrese has been one of like the low-key defensive notable players for the Sixers here. You look at his defense on Kemba Walker, 0 points, 0-6 from the field, 0-4 from 3 against the Knicks. Trae Young, 36 possessions, only 8 points, 3 of 9 from the field. Damian Lillard the other night, 32-plus possessions, only 3 of 8 from the field. I thought he did terrific tonight against Lonzo Ball. Let's take a look at some of his plays here. This is actually against Levine. But just look at him, he's been showing so much effort, so much activity. Here he just, is right up, contesting the shot. I think I have another one coming up. Here's another one of Matisse against Zach LaVine. Fighting. Not one easy shot by LaVine when defended by Tyrese Maxey tonight. What are your guys' thoughts on Maxey's defense, man?
So one of the things that we noted during the summer with Matisse, because he played a lot during summer league, is the fact that his closeouts were very poor. So he would kind of close out off balance, not really be in any type of defensive angle.
Are you talking about Maxey or Matisse right now?
Sorry, Maxey.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. So Maxey.
Okay, because Matisse has the best closeouts.
Yeah. No, absolutely 100% Tyrese Maxey. So it oftentimes will lead to a lot of easy drives for the opposition. And on that last clip that you show, Chris, I don't know if you're able to go back to it or not. That is a classic closeout. He is under control, in balance, hands up, and he really makes it. It's not on this one, it's on the other clip, the one that's on the rebound, the last one. But yeah, so you see him just close out, makes it super hard on Levine to get the shot off and to drive. And I think that's what we're seeing is an defense improvement incrementally every single game from Maxey. And it's why he's in the court late in games, man. Rivers going to play guys who are going to show defensive effort and defensive discipline. And he's showing that late in games, and he's now playing late in games. So kudos to him, obviously.
And I think that's the biggest thing with Tyrese Maxey is that discipline, like you said, because the biggest reason Shake Milton is not on that court is because of that discipline on defense. We saw late in this game. There was a clip that I saw during the game of Doc Rivers literally saying to him, Why? Come on. As soon as it was right, I don't know if you guys remember, it was when Shake Milton and it was Georges Niang guarding DeMar DeRozan down in the paint. DeRozan misses the shot on a good contest from Niang, and Milton gets called for the foul. Milton gets pulled off the court, is talking to Doc, and Doc just looks at him right in the eyes and says, Why? Come on. And it's just that's the thing right there. That's why Maxey's on the court at the end of the game, because to this point, he's shown pretty good discipline against high-level offensive players.
This Chicago's team. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tiago.
I'm gonna say, are you saying Shake is now in Doc's doghouse? Because I'm thinking that's impossible.
I think it's definitely a possibility. The way Doc feels about defense, especially on a team that without your second-best scorer in Tobias Harris right now, you need good defense out there to equal out for that offense not being there. So it makes a lot of sense, especially with a perimeter-heavy scoring team like the Bulls.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room right now? I gotta call it out. No Ben Simmons. This team's they have officially now held four games this season. Teams under 100 points in a game. They held the New Orleans Pelicans to 97 points. They've held the New York Knicks. 3 times. They've held the Atlanta Hawks 94 points, and now they've held the Chicago Bulls to 98 points. So, and you look at the Portland Trailblazers, they only had 103 in that game the other night. And you look at the Chicago Bulls, they had an offensive rating 7th best in the league. No Ben Simmons, the Sixers are still getting the job done, Tiago. Is that a bad take?
It's a take. I'm not sure it's a take, but I'm also looking at the box score. I'm looking at 47 rebounds by Chicago, and
that's amazing. Yeah.
So again, this may not be a Ben Simmons thing, but they clearly lack size on the perimeter. It's obvious. It's plain obvious. So whether Ben Simmons comes back or you get more size in the perimeter, the Sixers need somebody who can defend big at the small forward shooting guard position. They don't have that right now. They're getting crushed on the glass on a regular basis. And yes, Ben Simmons helps that tremendously. Now, are you saying that Ben Simmons' defensive impact can be overstated by what you're seeing so far from the Sixers defensively? To some extent, you can make that argument. But I think if we put the box score aside and we put everything aside, we can all agree that Ben Simmons has a much bigger defensive impact than the box score tends to lead.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, if Ben Simmons was on the court, DeMar DeRozan wouldn't have been going off in the mid-range as much as he was this game. And that's just – but listen, I think a lot of people understand that. And I think it shows just how much heart the team does have by just how much the role players are stepping up defensively. You see Furkan Korkmaz, like I said, Georges Niang. I think Georges Niang, I knew Georges Niang coming into the season was going to be a really big contributor to this team. I did not realize how much energy he puts in on the defensive end. That man is legitimately a 3-and-D player. He plays, and he's not a great defender, but he plays hard defense, and he makes his shots and he has a quick trigger on the other end of the court. So that's something that I think a lot of Sixers fans didn't expect. Also, the jump it seems that Furkan Korkmaz has made after this offseason. I don't think anyone expected we'd be talking about a guy like that growing as much as he did.
Yeah, well, before we get into Furkan, because I know Tiago wants to talk about him, just real to finish on the defense, Levine and DeMar DeRozan were only 7 of 16 from the field, 18 points combined, a minus 18 combined. You look at the second half, that duo had 36 points in the second half combined, and especially in that third quarter where they had 22 of those points, 8 of 12 from the field there. So the Sixers defense was outstanding in that first half, not so much that second half, especially offensively. Tiago, bring us home about Furkan Korkmaz because he has been a revelation.
Yeah, I mean, Furkan Korkmaz has been more than a revelation, I think, in this first part of the season. The Sixers have asked more from him this season, meaning that they want him to be more than a shooter. He's kind of their complementary pick and roll playmaker right now. He did more of that tonight, starting in place of Tobias Harris, who's their kind of complementary point guard on the starting lineup. Did that pretty effectively. Defended again, DeRozan. Again, not great all the time, but you could see him compete at a high level. So, kudos to that. So I say all this to prelude the folks that we're working on a Furkan Korkmaz article that's coming out tomorrow that talks about all of his improvements defensively, offensively, as a shooter in transition, as a ball handler. So shout out to Furk Nation. I know there's a lot of you guys out there. So
speaking of that, I love this comment. That is amazing. That is amazing. The return says, Tiago, say you love Furkan, and that's why you grow your beard just like him.
Funny you say that because I've had my beard for years now, and I just saw Furk roll up with his beard for the first time.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I'm pretty sure Tiago's had this beard longer. I'll be honest. Actually, Furkan must be watching our videos, and be seeing what Tiago's been saying about him, and said, you know what, this guy's good. I gotta copy this man.
Yeah. No, he's been great, man. I mean, it's everything you want from the guy. I think when the Sixers signed him, they expected just a shooter, but they're getting way more than what they're paying him, and it's a tremendous value contract right now.
Definitely, they have a lot of tremendous value contracts. You look at Seth Curry making $10 million a year. You look at Georges Niang making $3 million, Andre Drummond making $2 million, Furkan Korkmaz making $5 million. All those role players contributing is huge, especially when the big man doesn't have a great game, and Joel Embiid did not have a great game tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about Joel Embiid. That block he had there on DeMar DeRozan was unbelievable. We have to, call it as it is. Offensively, it's been a struggle for Embiid. Again, 6 of 18 from the floor tonight, 1 of 5 from 3. He had 18 points, 4 turnovers. Some of those just dribbling off his foot. The frustrating turnovers. Joel Embiid has really struggled, especially in ISO this year. He's just not getting it done. And I'm going to look up the stats quick. Tiago, what is going on with Joel Embiid? Is it conditioning? Is it injury? The flow, the offense? The offense is clicking, but Joel Embiid is not. Why?
I mean, I can't answer why. I think that's a question to ask Joel Embiid himself. I mean, to me, it looks like he's trying to save up a little bit of energy and these games go along. I mean, he's still being very effective offensively. But if you look at it from a standpoint of where he's getting the ball on the court, he's just not getting positions where he usually gets them, like in more positions where he can go up with it in the post and be more effective as a post threat. No, I do think the Sixers want him operating more out of the perimeter as a kind of creator because they don't have a point guard and he's able to pull out the center to the three-point line and create more space for others. So I think they have him working that standpoint. Where I'm at with Joel Embiid, though, is that if you're struggling and you're having a bad game, turnovers happen, whatever. But one of the things I've noticed about Joel is the sloppiness around the passing, particularly like when guys are set up to shoot in the perimeter. His passes seem to be low, high, to the side. And again, you got to be precise with that. I mean, we see that with Drummond a lot. Like, Drummond is a very precise passer. I mean, when Drummond makes that pass, it's in the shooting pocket. The guy's up to go with it. No questions asked, no hesitation. And with Joel, it gets sloppy sometimes, and the Sixers miss out on chances to get open three-point looks as a result. So if you're having a bad game, fine, dude. You're going to have bad games. Everybody has bad games. But focus on the things that you can control. And if you're making a simple 5-foot pass, that's got to be on the pocket. No questions asked.
I feel like a lot of times with the difference between Joel and Andre Drummond passes, or Joel is really trying to get his when he's in the post. Andre is looking a lot more to facilitate than Joel Embiid is, being that Joel is the number one scoring option and Drummond is obviously not. So I feel like a lot of times Joel is trying to get his own and then realizes it's not there, is passes out real quick, whereas Andre Drummond is looking for that pass and is a little bit more controlled. That's one thing I definitely noticed between the difference between the two.
Yeah, check out Joel Embiid between 3 and underneath the 3-point line, especially between 3 and 16 feet. That dude was automatic last year, every single time.
I know. So, Chris, show last year's shot chart. This is this year.
I'm about to.
You can see
this is this year. Look at
this year. He's shooting 27.3% from between 16 feet and the 3-point line, and he's shooting 46.2% between 10 feet and 16 feet.
All right, so that's this year. Let's go into last year, where he was just an animal, just unbelievably.
Let me guess. It's got to be like 60 something, right?
No, but it's in the 46, 49%.
Okay.
So Tiago, any take on that?
I mean, just visually, without looking at the numbers, if I'm looking at green and red dots, you see much more concentrated green around the rim. Now, granted, there's obviously more shots last year compared to this year, but you can just see the concentration of green around the basket. And from what I interpret their shot chart to be this year, it's much more scattered, and you're seeing less and less concentration around the rim, which is visually makes sense when you watch him play. He's just not getting the ball in the paint as much as he has in the past. That could be a function of his health, him taking it easy, the way that the Sixers want to orchestrate offense, a function of different things. And again, that's a question to ask Joel and Doc, but that's how it looks like to me, at least.
I genuinely feel like a lot of it has to do with him having to play both sides of the ball a lot more. When Ben Simmons is on the floor, he's able to take a rest on defense. I think that he has to put so much energy in around the rim a lot more now this year, being that Ben is not with the team, that it takes away from some of the input he puts in on the offensive end, because people may not understand how much energy it really does take to body yourself in deep into the paint in a basketball game. It takes a lot of effort throughout the game, especially when the Sixers are riding Joel as much as they do throughout the game. So I think that might be a big reason that does happen personally.
Yep.
I look at the decrease in free throw attempts. That's what you see, especially that's the pattern. That's the trend in the second half. He did have 5 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter, which I love to see. Like, he was averaging less than 2 in the fourth quarter, which we have talked about on Morning Cup of Joe with me and Tiago a lot. So you can just tell, he just doesn't have his legs there in these second halves. And this is a guy that is bread and butter, needs to be going to the line.
I will say this, though, just more important on Joel Embiid, Chris, because it was clear from the start that the Sixers wanted to attack Vucevic in space. And the way that they did that is by having Joel set the screen and use dribble handoffs with Curry and Maxey and just have him set in that mid-range area. I mean, they scored a ton of points on Vucevic tonight. And I thought that Joel did a really good job of setting very solid screens throughout the game. I mean, very solid screens where it was really, Curry would come downhill, clean look, Vucevic goes in that drop position, and it's an easy 2 points. So, give him credit for that.
And you know who did a really good job attacking the paint and attacking Vucevic on those? And I know you mentioned his name, but Tyrese Maxey did a really good job when getting contact. Same with Furkan Korkmaz. He went 4 for 6 from the free throw line. You love to see that. 14 points and 16 assists as well. It's becoming pretty But this is becoming a pretty regular stat. And for a guy in a first year as a real starting, being like thrusted into a starting point guard role, he's doing pretty well with it. It's better than I think I thought he was going to when it came to at least the playmaking aspect of it.
Yeah. I've been blown away. These last few games, this stretch where the Sixers are, 4-game now win streak by the Sixers. There's no secret why Tyrese Maxey's had his best moments of the season so far during this stretch, especially defensively. He's been terrific. Offensively, he's been efficient. He's getting to the rim. His at the rim numbers are terrific again this year. But I just love the way he plays in control. Like there's not very like he's what is his birthday tomorrow? I think they said tonight that it's going to be his birthday tomorrow. It was going to be 21, I think. So that's unbelievable. And the fact that you're seeing a guy, especially in the pick and roll, with Joel, starting to show signs of growth defensively and offensively, like that is such. I don't know, guys. I don't know about you, but like if I'm making a list, if I'm looking at the roster right now as it is, and I'm going to make a list of things that are crucial to their success in the playoffs, Tyrese Maxey is literally probably a top 3 for me. What about you guys?
Chris, late in game, ball swings his way, right? Space to drive, no hesitation. And I mean, we know one thing we can criticize Ben Simmons for a lot is the fact that when the ball swung his way, it either stopped or it was another pass to somebody else. And Maxey, no hesitation, downhill, finishes at the rim. And I think, that's a big reason why they won tonight. I mean, you got to be aggressive late in games. You got to believe in your offense. You got to believe in your free throw shooting. And Maxey has done that for 2 straight nights now.
Something else you really notice at the end of games, and which is going to be really nice in the playoffs, if Ben is not with the team still, the fouls at the end of the game. This game was a close game at the end where if you have a guy who can't shoot free throws, you might be getting some fouls on your point guard. Yeah. Have you guys noticed that teams are not doing that at the end of games with the Sixers, at least early this season?
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this about Ben. I don't want to.
Of course not. Neither do I.
They're just scoring every trip down the court. Anyways, we move on.
Move on.
I promised myself I would never buy a current player's jersey ever again, especially with the latest what's going on with Philly sports. But Maxey's getting there, man. He's getting there. I love me some guards, and he's definitely trending in the right direction.
Definitely. Can we talk about another guy who's trending in the right direction and has been now for the past few games? Niang.
Yeah, your boy.
We need to talk about him. We need to talk about him some more, man. The guy's defense, the guy's offense. It's just the trigger on that man. The trigger. And I tweeted something out during the game. I said just going through some of my receipts. I went back and looked at a tweet that I put out right when they signed him. After I watched a lot of his tape, and I was like, man, this guy fits perfectly. He gets his shots where the Sixers didn't before. He fits. He plays hard. He shoots the ball well, and that is what the Sixers have needed at their power forward spot behind Harris when he's not on the floor for so long. It's Justin is pronounced George. His name is Georges.
we got some Niang controversy on the pod. Who knew?
He had a couple really big 3-pointers in that third quarter. Big shots.
Listen, his name is Georges Niang. I don't care what they say on the broadcast.
Can we get a ruling on Niang's name?
I will. Yes.
Do not ask me about pronunciating names, man. I'm out, guys.
Yeah, he's been everything and more, man. Again, you saw late in game defensively, right? So the Sixers needed size on the court. Took out Korkmaz, put in Niang. This is way more than expected from Niang at this point in the Sixers career. But the shooting was a key factor. Anytime that you saw the Bulls try to make a run, especially like the second quarter, Niang's shot was. Oh, here you have his shot chart. I mean, that is about as green as you possibly would want from 3-point. The guy is a bona fide sniper. I think he's shooting something like over 40% on catch and shoot threes, which is a pretty big deal. But yeah, I mean, it's what you want, man. Attacking closeouts, he does that more effective than Scott. defensively, I thought he competed, and you can see how smart he is defensively, off the ball, rotating, make sure that guys don't get easy buckets. So he's been unbelievable, man, unbelievable.
Yeah, I want to go to his like plus minus because it's. I think we talked about this last time. He was a +3 against the Bulls. Before that, he was only a negative on the court once. Tonight, what was he tonight? Let's see what he was tonight because he was all over the place. He was a +5, 18 points, 4 threes. And I just love his energy. I absolutely adore his energy. I compared him to Corey Brewer during our last post game show. That's you can tell like the crowd feeds off of this guy. He's the first one like pumping up the crowd, and that is something the Sixers truly lacked last year, is that energy off the bench. And that being said, he was in this game late in the fourth quarter. He was in this game. So there's no question that his fit with Joel Embiid is pitch perfect. So like you said, Justin, there's not enough that can be said about Niang because he's been outstanding. Look at his numbers from 3-point range. Terrific.
All right. I have to admit when I'm wrong. I'm looking at Basketball Reference. It is spelled Georges. It is pronounced George. I apologize to the basketball community. I apologize to. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. I apologize, and I also apologize to Amir. I am wrong.
Happens to the best of us, man. I made the same mistake. So
yes, many times. Same here.
But
right,
still,
let's roll on the player of the game.
Still a big fan of this player.
Let's roll on the player of the game. Justin, who's your player of the game?
Man, I'm going to ride with the guy I've been riding with since they signed him, Jordan Niang. I'm going to ride with him. Listen, I came into the show saying I was going to say him. I'm going to stick with it. 18 points, 6 of 12 from the field, and 4 of 8 from behind the arc. What else can you ask for? Good defense and good shooting. That's what you need.
What about you, Tiago?
I mean, my player of the game is Isaiah Joe, and his no, I'm just joking. Shout out to Joe Nation getting 5 minutes tonight. I thought he would see more, but maybe next time, guys. I mean, it's got to be Thibault, man. His defensive presence tonight was game changing. You could see it everywhere. You could see it against DeRozan. You could see it especially against Levine. And he hit 2 threes tonight, man. I mean, if he's going to give you that type of two-way play, you go from like a rotation guy to a bona fide starter. So, he was phenomenal tonight. You hope that he can kind of start getting to a rhythm. I think that the Olympics might have had a factor with him this year. Just too much basketball during the summer. And hopefully he's getting his legs under him and getting that going because the Sixers, they need him, man. And they absolutely need him tonight, and he delivered.
I got to go with my man, Seth Curry. I mean, if you thought this guy was just a 3-point shooter, I don't know what you're watching because this guy mid-range game tonight was unbelievable. His pull-up, 4 of 5 there, if you can see from Seth Curry. Are you able to see that?
That's a lot of red on the Bulls side.
It's very, very tiny, but I can see it.
Yes, this is shot zone, all periods. Yeah, not so good on the Bulls end right over there. Shooting wise, but this is Seth Curry on the right side. You see 4 or 5, just had massive mid-range shots, especially late. He had a couple of buckets there late in that fourth quarter, just to stop the bleeding, just like Niang did in the third quarter. I'm going to go Seth Curry. I think I can confidently say he's the Sixers' second best player. Is that right, guys? Like, there's no question.
At the moment, definitely. At least second best offensive player, no doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
Something I do want to say about Curry that I think is just something that I don't think anyone fully expected coming into this, coming into them trading for him. Like, everyone knew he was a good 3-point shooter, but this man not only gets his shots off when the offenses ran for him, he is able to get himself open and then hit his shots when he's just on the court in general. I feel like that to me is a huge difference between him and JJ Redick when he was here. JJ a lot of times had to have plays ran for him to really be beneficial on the Sixers team. Seth, doesn't have to have plays ran for him to be effective in this offense. And it's definitely nice to see from your shooting guard.
All right, so Seth Curry is shooting 56+% from three after tonight. Think about that, guys. Can we just appreciate that? Like 56+%. It's gonna drop, obviously, but I just want to appreciate it now, just how outstanding this guy's been through 8 games.
100%.
All right, grade tonight's performance, Tiago. Real quick, A to F.
Oh, A-. I thought that the Sixers were going to have a difficult time tonight against the Bulls. They've been playing phenomenal basketball. They've been playing phenomenal defensive basketball. I thought that the Sixers did a really good job getting shots against that defense. Maxey a few times made Lonzo Ball, who I think is an all NBA type defender, made him look silly at times, which was just beautiful to watch. And again, defensively, I mean, the Bulls are not an offensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination, but they were short a ton of guys. And that's the second time in a row, back to back, Portland, Chicago, top 10 offenses where the Sixers really made a statement defensively. So overall, A- effort. The team is on a roll right now. Fun one.
Justin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go A. It would be an A+, but the end scared me, and they definitely need to work on that half court offense at the end of games. It's definitely a little scary, but overall, I'm gonna go A.
Yeah, I think A-. I agree, Justin. Like that fourth quarter, especially the start where they just could not get a bucket. You just saw it happening. Like DeMar DeRozan was clicking. Anything he got in the mid range, it was going in. It was a little I was definitely a lot of nervous.
Yeah,
but I'll go A- for me because you look at the team is winning by bench play. What was the bench today?
Are you talking about just like how many points the bench scored?
Yeah,
in general?
Compared to the Bulls.
I will tell you in 1 second. The bench scored 30 points tonight in comparison to the Bulls 13.
Yes, The bench is getting it done. The guys. When was the last time that everyone other than Joel Embiid is pulling the Sixers to a victory? We don't ever talk like that. That did not happen last year. So you look at his on-off numbers, Joel Embiid off the court. The Sixers are doing it really well. I'll have those numbers for you during Morning Cup of Joe. But it's just really refreshing to see the Sixers surrounding Joel Embiid and taking care of business even when Embiid has an off night. So I'm going A-. Let's wrap it up. Justin, where can we find it?
You can go follow me at J_Persichetti on Twitter. Go check me out there. All your Blue Coats content. I am the Blue Coats reporter for the Painted Lions. The Blue Coats' first home game, opening game of the season, is this Saturday in Delaware at the Chase Fieldhouse. I will be there reporting live for y'all. So definitely go give me a follow if you want to hear about your boys, Jaden Springer, Sixers' recent first-round draft pick. If you want to hear about Aaron Henry, if you want to hear about anybody on Blue Coat, Shaq Harrison, go look up their roster. It's going to be a fun season.
Tiago.
No doubt, man. Loving some Blue Coats.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be doing the Morning Cup of Joe tomorrow. Chris and I talking about more detail, what the game was like, a lot of things to take away from tonight. And I'll also be publishing my Korkmaz article about how he's improved as a player. He's been fantastic. We talked about it on the podcast. Make sure to check that out.
Morning Cup of Joe tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Don't want to miss it. 5:30 a.m. 5:30 a.m. We'll be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you everyone for watching and commenting. Sixers move to 6-2 on the season. They take on the Detroit Pistons tomorrow, and they play the Chicago Bulls very soon within the next few days. So no rest for the weary here. Especially for me and Tiago. Follow my man Justin over there. He is at J_Persichetti. My man Tiago at T Scabia for Justin, for Tiago.
Go follow Crackpot. Go follow him.
Thank you everyone for watching. Go Sixers. Stay awesome, everyone.